Hey you guys, how you doing? Welcome to Bones Collector, and today's video is going to be a revisit back in time to the year 2016. So what's that, 9 years ago? And Lori and I were playing a game recently, and it was from the year 2016. And I think we had just played another game from 2016, and I thought, wow, what a great year that was for board games. So I went through our library of games, and I realized we have 15 games from 2016. That's a lot. So I'm going to talk about some of those games today. The first thing I'm going to talk about are the ones that 2016 that were outstanding that I played and sold. Railroad Revolution by What's Your Game? It was the publisher. But Railroad Revolution, very good Euro game. We really enjoyed that game. It's a route builder and have a map of the United States. You're going from the East Coast to the West Coast, and have the telegraph at the bottom that you're trying to get benefits from also. So just a wonderful game. And you have such mixed feelings when you get rid of a good game. You know, we're like, oh my gosh, should we do this? And we got rid of it. And it's gone. So yeah, that's a wonderful game if you have it. And the other game that we got rid of from that year is Ulm. Ulm is kind of a unique game because it has a cathedral, 3D cathedral that's made out of cardboard, and there's 10 tiles that you have, and each one of those tiles has a rule breaker on it. And they'll be sitting beside the cathedral, and as you go through the rounds, you'll take that tile and put it on the cathedral and actually feel like you're building that cathedral because it's your round counter. And it breaks a rule for that round on every one of those tiles, which is really cool. And it also has a very unique action selection mechanism where you have, I think it's a grid of 3x3. It might be
it is
3x3. And then you're going to take a tile and shove someplace on that grid on top or bottom or left or right side, and it'll shoot out a tile, and what's left behind are the actions you're going to be able to take. It's a fantastic mechanism, and we enjoyed Ulm very much, had super mixed feelings about getting rid of Ulm. I just loved that game. And some other games that are in my library that I do want to talk about is, of course, Pandemic Reign of Cthulhu came out that we have. It's one of my favorite versions of Pandemic. I love Pandemic system, and Reign of Cthulhu is outstanding because we play it during Halloween. We just adore that game. It's super challenging, and we'll warn you. Pandemic Reign of Cthulhu is very difficult to win, even harder than Pandemic. But we love the challenge, and we love the theme because I have always loved that spooky kind of, not horror, nasty horror, but just spooky, scary stuff. So I really love Pandemic Reign of Cthulhu. And then we have a game called Dream Home that came out in 2016. Now my granddaughter was 6 years old in 2016. Now she's a sophomore in high school, but we bought that game and we played it over and over with her, and she just loved it. Every time she would come and stay overnight, she had to play Dream Home.
She still does.
Still loves to play it. Even when she comes over, she's, like I say, she's sophomore in high school. When she comes over, she wants to play Dream Home. But we realized how much we loved that game also. It's a very light game. Your player board is a house, and you're going to draft cards and roof tiles and put those on your house in certain fashion that it's going to determine how you score points. But we love that game very much, and we have such wonderful memories of that game with our granddaughter. We will never get rid of it. So Dream Home is in our library to stay. But if you've got kids of that age, elementary school or even middle schoolers, that game is so much fun. I mean, do you agree? I mean,
yeah.
We've kept it all these years, and we decide, you know what, we like playing that game. There's a time in our board gaming hobby life where we wanted all these very difficult games to play, and I'm going to be 70 this year, and we've jettisoned most of those games and let someone else that's younger play those. And now we like games like Dream Home. But we love that game. Another game that we have from 2016 that we really adore and have kept is called Colony, and that's from Ted Alspach, who's head of Bezier Games. And I love a lot of Ted's games. This is the only one we've ever kept. It's an engine builder dice game. You're going to have a market of cards, and they have dice requirements on them. When you can roll that, you're going to be able to draft that card, and then there's certain ways you can roll dice to score that card and build a little engine in front of you. And it's a racing game to 20 points. So the first person that gets to 20 you win the game. There's no bonus points, no figuring up a score, and I love games like that. So every one of those cards are worth 1 on the basic side, and if you upgrade that card, which is one of your actions you're going to take, to the other side, it's going to be worth 2. And then some of the cards you draft have point scoring mechanisms on them themselves.
Set collections.
Yeah, so you always know where you're at, though. So you count all those little orange dots on your engine in front of you, your tableau of cards, and you're 11, I'm at 11, you know, and so you're very aware of where everybody's at. And so many times in this game, I've been on 17 or 18, and Lori's been on like 15, and she scores 5 points on a turn and just gets to 20, and I just leave and don't even say anything to her. But yeah, but we've loved Colony ever since we played it the first time. We still have it. Dead of Winter Long Night, which was a standalone expansion of Dead of Winter, and that's what we have in our library for our Dead of Winter fix. And those are games that we have in our library that they're not going to be in the video. This is my top 10 from 2016. I love talking about these games. Every one of them I adore. And the first one I'm going to talk about is this one right here, and that is Stefan Feld's Oracle of Delphi. Now, of all the games in this video, this is probably the most complex. And it's a pick up and deliver game. It's Stefan Feld's take on pick up and deliver. And Zeus is having a contest, and you're trying to be the one to finish all these requirements and get back to Zeus first, and you win the game. But you have to travel all over this X map, defeating monsters and building things, and you're trying to be so efficient because it's pick up and deliver. So it's all about efficiency on that map, moving around that map, accomplishing tasks as you go as efficiently as you possibly can. But you have a ton of help doing that, and there's a lot to think about other than the pick up and deliver that draws you away from that. It's a dice rolling game, so you're going to roll dice, and that's your oracle, and there's custom dice and special icons on them are going to determine what you're allowed to do. You can modify those dice rolls with god cards and character cards, and again, you're just thinking about how you can modify all of that stuff with those dice and be able to weave that together with the map and the pick up and deliver that makes this game so much fun. It's published by TMG, of course, who is out of business. I don't know how difficult it is to find a copy of Oracle of Delphi, but if you do, it's one of his better games, and it's one that we've hung on to. We've gotten rid of some games from Stefan Feld, formed Trajan on them, and we even got rid of Trajan. So, you know, a lot of people, what are you talking about? Yeah, and we kept this just because it has a more fun look to it, first of all, and sometimes that means something to us. But the pick up and deliver, we enjoy that, and the dice rolling and the card mechanics in here all put together make a wonderful game, Oracle of Delphi by Stefan Feld, 2016. The next game I'm going to talk about is called Turia. And this game is by Inca and Marcus Brand and Michael Reinick. Now, Inca and Marcus Brand have, you know, they did Village, they did Raja the Ganges. I mean, these people know how to design a board game. And Michael Reinick did Pillars of the Earth, and he did that Santiago de Cuba that we had for a long time, which we moved on. Had mixed feelings about that because I loved that game. It's a smaller Euro-style game, but just was very, very good. And, you know, I look back on that, I'm like, oh, I've kept, because you're never going to find it. I don't think it'll be a tough find.
It'll be hard to find.
Yeah, but Turia is a very light game, and it reminds me of The Wizard of Oz. And there's two unique things in this game that keep it in our library. The first is the spinning towers, and each corner of the board has a tower on it, and each one of those towers is square, so you have 4 sides. Each side has a different action on it. When you're sitting at the table, the 4 sides that are facing you are the action selections you're going to have. You have to choose. Once you do that action, you're going to spin that tower. It has an arrow on top. It reminds you which direction to spin that tower. So that's the action selection mechanism. Very unique. I mean, that alone is worth the price of admission here. And then also, the other unique thing is everybody's using the same avatar, and it actually looks like Dorothy and the Tin Man. I mean, these, you know, the avatar itself is 4 characters.
It's a crowd.
Yeah, and so you're like, oh, it feels so like Oz, you know. So you're moving that, and you're going to move it someplace, and somebody else is going to want it to be somewhere else. So on their turn, they're going to move it where they want to go and take that action on the board. And then your turn, you're going to move it closer to where you want to get to and take that action on the board. So it's just so much fun because of those two unique mechanisms. And then of course you're going to gather what you need to get to the castle, and you have to have certain things in order to turn over the door tiles that are in the castle. You're looking for the prince or princess, whoever you happen to want to marry, and whenever you find the prince and princess token and turn that over, you're the winner of the game. But this is such a unique game, and it can be acquired so inexpensively. I've seen this going brand new for 10, 15 bucks at board game conventions. I mean, take advantage of someone getting rid of this game. Do it. So again, it's a lighter game, but there's so much fun to be had, and it's so unique in its mechanisms that it's in my top 100, and it will stay there because of that. Wonderful design team, outstanding game for 2 to 4 players, and you can play it in an hour. That's always cool. All right, number 8 is going to be Via Nebula by Martin Wallace. The Martin Wallace that designed Brass and London and so many other board games. Just an outstanding designer. Anno 1800 or 1900. What's the other one we have? Oh yeah, Tinner's Trail.
That's it.
Outstanding game. And we moved that one on, but I had mixed feelings about that. That game was fantastic. It was just an outstanding game. But this game is a light game by Martin Wallace, and it's a route builder like many of his games are. And we just enjoy playing it. And this is another game that's a race. And the first person to build all 5 of their buildings on the board, once you build that building, boom, game's over right then. And you've won. It's so much fun. There's so much that I love about this game. One thing I don't like about it is the box cover. The game theme takes place in fog, so they kind of made it light, like it had been laying out in the sun, and that's exactly what it looks like. An old game that someone's trying to ditch that laid on their dashboard here in Florida for about a month, and it's all faded out. I just dislike that. But the game itself is fantastic, and this is another one you can get for 10 or 15 bucks from somebody. It's so much fun, and there's more to it than you can imagine. And play it a few times, but you are populating the board with resources, but there's a way that you have to do that. You don't want to get stuck with extra resources on the board with your guy standing there, because those count against you at the end of the game. They go on your player board, and every one of those resources that were left on that board are -1 point at the end of the game. And then there's contract fulfillment in it, but I love the insert that comes in this game. You have a deck of cards, the contracts and stuff that you're going to fulfill, and tiles that you're going to lay out on the board. There's certain ways you have to do that, and then all of your buildings, all the player buildings, are different shapes, so that's fun too. And then all your resources go down here in these shaped holes. You know, the wheat is shaped like wheat, the pig is shaped like a pig, the stone's shaped like a stone, and so forth. And I just love that about this game. The insert's fantastic. This game is light, fun.
It is very light.
Yeah, yes. That Lori and I absolutely enjoy. And when you're playing this, I'm going to give you a hint. If you happen to get this game, you're allowed to take 2 actions. I have a marker or something, because you're going to chain react off of things. So when you take 1 action, put a marker on it. Hey, I took that action. We have these little clear discs we use. And then go do your things, whatever you're doing. And then, okay, now I got another action, so I'm going to do this. So
yeah, you do need something, at least we do, to keep track.
Yeah, we have to have something to keep track. This is a game that we adore. Again, we've talked about, especially when we first got it, we thought, well, that is so light. You know, I mean, that's 9 years ago, and we're like, that's really light. Is that going to be something we want to play? And so we said, well, let's sell it. So we're going to a convention, and Lori said, well, we're going to put Via Nebula on the market. And I said, well, let's play it one more time, and then go ahead and sell it. Well, we played it one more time, and I said, nah, I don't sell it.
And then we've done that multiple times.
We've done that several times. Hey, are we going to get rid of Via Nebula?
Let's play it.
Let's play it. So we play it, and we say, no, we're keeping it. And the older we get, the happier we are that we did that. That's Via Nebula by Martin Wallace, my favorite game by Martin. Anytime Laura says, hey, you want to play Via Nebula? Heck yeah, throw it on the table. You know, we can get that done in 45 minutes and just have a great time doing so. That's Via Nebula by Martin Wallace. Very good game by Martin Wallace. Okay, the next game I'm going to talk about from 2016 is Kevin Riley's Eons End. This is a cooperative game, but this is for 1 to 4 players, so you can play it solo and play it in an hour. It's a deck building game, and there are a lot of these out there. Eons End is special because the way you build that deck is extremely important. First of all, you can't shuffle, so you want those cards to be in certain places in your deck. So when you're getting them from the market, you're like, okay, I gotta wait because I have 2 cards. I want to get 2 cards on top of that really powerful card. I don't want those powerful cards to be right next to each other, so I'm gonna wait until I got a couple of cards on top of that. And you have to know what order your deck's in. So you're busting your chops, trying to remember.
It's hard to remember not to shuffle.
Yeah, and so then, okay, now I'm going to buy that card and put it on top of my deck because that's where I want that card. Because not only do you have to think about how you construct that deck, but you also have to think about you want that deck to be as small as possible so that you can cycle through those cards and get those power cards that you need to do well in this game. And again, it's a cooperative game, and you have a portal mechanism in here that you have to leverage. I just love Eons End. Ever since the first time I played it, I was like, wow, that's incredible. And then we also have Eons End War Eternal, and we just enjoy the heck out of that game. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's super. Now, some people, other reviewers, will say, well, it's generic in the monsters and generic in cards and stuff that are offered up in the game. And to them, I say, wow, yeah, I don't know. I'm glad you're getting rid of it because I bought it from you. It's a great game. All right, the next game I'm going to talk about is from 2016. Is Lorenzo Il Magnifico. It's one of my favorite heroes. I mean, I think it's in my top 30, in my Ultimate Top 100. I just love this game. It's a dice Euro game where you're going to roll 3 big chunky wooden dice, and there's a black one, a white one, and an orange one, and you have family members with stickers on them for those colors. So whatever values are on that dice, that's the value of your family member and the place that you're going to be able to place them in these trees of cards that are in a market. I think there's 4 rows of those cards. So you have those family members that are worth certain values to whatever you rolled those dice and how they came up, and that's going to determine the decisions you make in the game. You're going to build a little bit of an engine on a player board in front of you, and also there is a punishment mechanism in here that you have to be keenly aware of. So you're aware that if you don't make a certain progress on a track, you're going to have to suffer some punishment. So you're keenly aware of that going on also. But Lori and I adore this game. And every time we play it, we find something new to love about it, and that is a sign of a super replayable game that's going to stay with you for a long, long time. That's Lorenzo Il Magnifico, a tremendous game from 2016 for 2 to 4 players, and you can play it in an hour, 2-player, which is right where we like to be. Oh, I wanted to mention also, and this is so important, you've heard me talk about this so many times, but the design team of Lorenzo is Virginio Gigli, Flaminia Brasini, with Simone Luciani. Just a tremendous team of Italian designers. These guys are amazing. There you go. Let's do it. Okay, the next game we're going to talk about today is Manhattan Project Energy Empire by Luke Laurie and Tom Jolly, I believe. Luke Laurie and Tom Jolly, yeah. This is the game we were playing the other day, and I said, wow, what a great year. We had just played another game from 2016, and we got this one out, and I said, that's from 2016. Of course, Luke Laurie is a guy that you remembered has done Dwellings of Eldervale, a game which we, back on Kickstarter, received the deluxe with the monsters that roared, and we let that go. It was a huge box, first of all, and the game was okay. It was okay. Well, we weren't in love with it. Let's put it that way. So we moved it on to somebody that is in love with it, and we're glad to do that. And then the other game he had just came out was Andromeda's Edge. And again, that's a game that's very busy, a little busier than we like to be in board gaming. So 2 fine games by Luke Laurie. But we've kept this game ever since it first came out. We loved it. We bought it the year it came out, and we love playing this game.
That was our first big box Euro.
Yeah, well,
I think.
I don't know, was it? I don't know. But man, this is an outstanding game if you have not played this. I think it gets confused with Manhattan Project. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
This is called the Manhattan Project Energy Empire. Even if you look it up on Board Game Geek, you have to type in the. If you don't type in the and type in Manhattan Project, you're going to get another game.
And if you type in Manhattan Project Energy Empire without the, you get the new version of the Manhattan Project. They've redone
Which is not as pretty as this game. This game is published fantastic. It has a bunch of custom dice. So 24 custom dice in this game. And the oil barrels are metal, and all the components are just wonderful. And the board is a decent size so that you...
Looks like a deluxe game.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah, I think back then it probably would have been considered deluxe. It's for 1 to 5 players, takes you an hour to play, 2-player. And the thing when you're playing this game that you have to remember, this is about polluting the planet, okay? You're trying to become the energy king with alternative energy rather than oil and coal and gas and that kind of stuff. But you're going to be polluting as you're building your engine of cards. And you have to make sure that when it tells you to take pollution, you take it from the game board and not the supply, because that's your round counter. That's the timer in the game. And so you can watch those tokens slipping away, and you're like, oh my gosh, I mean, there's only 6 tokens left, 6 pollution tokens. I gotta bust my butt trying to build something here and score as many points as I possibly can. But this game is fantastic. It's a worker placement game, and Luke Laurie used this in Dwellings of Eldervale. You put workers out there, and then you're going to take them back. So players are going to be generating at different times, much like you do in Tapestry. Your turns are going to be different. So when you're going to place all your workers out, you start out with some workers, and you're going to acquire more from your supply. But once all your workers out, then you got to, I think it's called generate, and you bring them all back, and then start over again. But such a tremendous game. Again, we played it the first time, and I turned her and I said, that's one of the best board games I've ever played. And we've had it ever since, and we love talking about it, and we love playing it. We just played it the other day, so I enjoy it. That's Luke Laurie's The Manhattan Project Energy Empire. And there is a new edition out, but this one's, if you can get your hands on this one, it is really nice.
We like this one better.
Yeah.
Looks-wise, but it might just be a nostalgia thing for us, too.
Could be. Okay, and number 4 is going to be a game called London Dread. The designers are Snore Crow and Asger Johansson. It's by Gray Fox Games. This is a cooperative game, and I bought this game right off a game store shelf because I like the picture on the front.
Knowing nothing about it, yeah.
Knew nothing about the game. I didn't search YouTube, nothing. I just said Victorian horror, and Laurie knows I am a nut for Victorian time frame, and I just enjoy all those movies and things from the Victorian era. Charles Dickens novels, I mean, everything about it I love, and especially London. And I'm sure people in London that watch this video say, what do you like about London? I lived there my whole life, it sucks. But I just love that time frame. I love the Victorian housing, the horse and buggies and gas lamps in the streets. I just love it. And London Dread takes you there. I bought it right off the shelf. I was just in a game store, saw it sitting there, and this is cool stuff when they were cool.
Here still sold games.
Here in Maitland, we had a game store called Cool Stuff. It was fantastic. They had board games all over the place. And I walked in there and saw that sitting on the shelf and thought, man, I don't care if it's any good or not. It looks good. I'm going to try it. So I took it home, and then I started searching on YouTube for someone, a video, how to play. And the thing that pushes this game over the top for me is it has an app of a voice actor. And the voice actor is fantastic. And in addition to his voice being fantastic, there are sound effects in the background of him speaking. And he has that English accent. It just takes you to London during the Victorian era, and it's just wonderful to play this game. It is a game that's split up into different parts. The first thing you're going to do, and it has a big board, and you're going to lay out encounter cards face down on that board, and then you're going to turn those up one at a time until you turn over 6 plot cards. So each one of those cards that you turn over that's not a plot card, you're going to have to resolve during the game. So you're praying those plot cards come up as quick as possible. But as soon as you turn up the 6 plot cards, you stop. So there'll be some of the encounter cards that did not get turned over, and you won't have to visit there. And then you have a timed planning phase where you'll have a clock. Each player has one, and you're going to take that clock and you're going to take the square tokens with, on one side's an arrow and the other side is a number, and you're going to program, they go right in these square slots on here, and you're going to program that clock together. You've got a 10-minute timer that's ticking away. You've got 10 minutes to plan for all those encounters that you turned over. You're going to have to resolve every one of those, and you want to do that because it gives you cards that are going to help you defeat the big boss at the end, or defeat the challenge at the end. So it's very important that you get as many of those encounters done and as possible. The encounter is going to be at a certain time of day, at a certain hour, and a certain section of the city, north, south, east, or west. So all three of those things you're thinking about when you're planning this clock. So you're putting those arrows in there. Well, I got to move up to the north end because I want to do that encounter over there. And you have to decide who's better equipped to do those encounters, because your characters that you're going to play are going to give you some starting game icons, and these are just wonderful. These nice hard cardboard. These icons are going to be present on the encounter cards. You're going to ask yourself, okay, I'm powerful in these particular areas. I'm going to go do that encounter. You go do that one because you have this such and such, and I'll go do this one. Then I'll move down to the south side and take care of this in the afternoon, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to plan that whole clock, and that 10 minutes is ticking away while you're doing that. And then once that timer goes off, then you go through, and there's no timer, and you're going to resolve those encounters, rolling all these dice. Now these dice are custom dice, and the bad thing about these dice, you want as many of them as you can possibly get your hands on, because there are only 2 successes on these D6s. So 4 blanks and 2 successes on every dice. And I would tell you what, one time when we played this game, when we first got it, I had the max, I don't know, I think it was like 19 dice. I rolled all 19 dice, got 19 blanks. That hurt terribly because it was the end of the game and we just lost. Dice can kill you in this game. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that won't happen to you. It will happen to you. But the game is my favorite game to play during the Halloween season. And every time I play this game, it renews my love for it. It's a love that's been there ever since I played it the first time. I enjoy it, and I love telling you guys about it. If you would like to live in that universe when you play a board game, that Victorian London, and you're solving a murder, and it's just so fabulous, and you hit those passages in the rule book, and you get that. It's only on iPhone. I'm glad I remembered to mention that. So if you have an Android, you won't be able to use that app. But Lori's got an Apple phone for her work, and I have an Android. But then you're going to play that voice actor, and the sound of the horse hooves and the carriage in the background is just fabulous. And it just takes you into that foggy night of London and the Victorian era with gas lamps burning, and it's so immersive. I just can't get enough of London Dread, and it's my 4th favorite game from a great year of 2016. That's London Dread. Okay, the next game I'm going to talk about is a game called Quadropolis from Days of Wonder. And this game is designed by Francois Gandon, and it plays 2 to 4 in about 30 to 45 minutes. I think probably 45 minutes for Lori and I to do this 2-player. This is a tough puzzle, folks, and it is a fun puzzle. The art in the cover of this box is a turn-off to some. I've read comments on BGG, and I think you have to get over that because the game is so fantastic. You have a player board and a central board. The central board has tiles on it, and you're going to have 4 architects in a 2-player game, and you're going to use those architects to make tile selections off that board. And they're like arrows, and you're going to lay it on a row or a column, and then it'll have a number on it from 1 to 4. So if you lay that number 3 on there, at the bottom, you're going to count 1, 2, 3, take that tile from the 3rd spot, and then you got to place it on that spot on your player board. And each tile has different function. And not only does each tile have a different function in how you lay it and where you lay it on your board, it also has to be activated by population, which are little plastic meeples that come in this box, acrylic meeples, and then acrylic energy cubes that you have to put on other tiles to activate them. So how do you get those acrylic pieces to activate those tiles? Well, the tiles that you draft, they're going to tell you how many you get when you draft that particular tile. So not only is that tile a certain type of tile that has to be scored in a certain way, but that tile may or may not have pieces that you're going to need to activate those tiles at the end of the game. And you have to have whatever amount of pieces on there that it tells you in order to activate that tile and score it at the end of the game. Such a fun puzzle, an outstanding design by this guy, and he's really kind of disappeared. I mean, this game is fantastic by Days of Wonder. This is absolutely my favorite game by Days of Wonder, hands down. There's no other game that compares with it that they've put out. It's fantastic. Please, if you have not tried this, but you've said to yourself, I don't like the looks of that cover, it looks childish and silly, go to a convention or your local game store, give it a play. I guarantee you, you will find out what I found out very early on. This is a fantastic game, one of my favorites. It's, I believe, in my top 20 all time, Quadropolis. If it's not, it's in my top 30, but it's a fantastic game. Okay, and the next game that I want to talk about from 2016 is Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is a game that's going to make anybody forget about some of the intriguing and unique Eurogame and Ameritrash game mechanics that are out there. But this game is so much fun for Lori and I. We love the Harry Potter universe, and so we picked this game up, and we have logged so many hours on this game. I think we have 100 hours or more logged in this game, because it has 7 books in there. Other than the first one, each book takes you about an hour and a half to complete, so that you've got a lot of time in one game. So just like the Harry Potter books, you're going to have one carton in here for each book. And we have the Monster Box of Monsters expansion in here that we also use when we play this game. And we do a couple of house rules. The first one is, and everybody does this that plays this game, is that you put like cards on top of each other in the market. So if you draw a card that's Aloha Mora, and there's one already in the market, you just put it on top of that. That way it cycles through the deck quicker, because this deck will get very big in this game. The deck of cards is going to supply the market. It gets very large, and so you want to cycle through those if you can. And then in the Monster Box of Monsters, it introduced cards called detentions, and you can get so clogged up with those. There are cards that are introduced into the game that say remove a detention from your hand or discard pile or something, and that deck of cards is getting so thick they may all be on the bottom, but you never know where those cards are at. And we've been caught with a whole handful of detention cards, and so we introduced a house rule that for 3 money you can buy a detention card and remove it from your hand or discard pile. And that's hard to do in this game, let me tell you. Giving up $3 because you are trying to buy cards from the market that are going to help you. It's a deck builder. So you're going to try to build that deck and make it as powerful as you possibly can. So to give up $3 just to get rid of a detention card is a hard decision. But we introduced that into our game, and we love it. We still lose once in a while, but we love that ability to get rid of that detention card by buying it out of there if we don't get one of those cards in one of our hands. Now in this deck building game, it's kind of strange, because at the end of the game, after you finish that game for an hour and a half, you're going to take all those cards out of your deck and go back to your 10 starting cards for the next storybook. And that's kind of freaky. That was hard to get used to. Oh, I just bought Dumbledore, for $8. He's so powerful.
Now I gotta put him back.
Yeah, now I got to put him back. You're going to hate doing that. But the game is so much fun. We adore it. It's published nicely. It has a board where you're going to lay all your cards. I love card games that have a board that you're going to play on. It just makes them so much more immersive. One of our other house rules that we use in the Monster Box of Monsters, so there is 2. The one, you can buy detention cards, and then whenever you're doing a new book, and I think there's 4 new books in the Monster Box of Monsters, and whenever you're doing a book, it tells you to randomly select villains. Well, we do that. We randomly select them all but one. We put Crab and Goyle in every game. The Crab and Goyle is pretty easy to handle.
Yeah.
If the right 2 or 3 villains come out, it is difficult.
You're just done.
Yeah, it is difficult to recover at the start of the game, because you're nothing. You have 10 starting cards, and if the right villains come out, digging your way out of that and building that deck is, wow. I mean, you're going to stun over and over and over, and hopefully hang on for dear life until you can get strong enough to survive and get rid of like Barty Crouch and some of
Bellatrix is horrible.
Bellatrix is horrible. But hey, those few house rules are worth it. Obviously, we love playing this game. I think other than Dixit, I think Dick said we might have more hours logged in this game.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It's pretty close. We love playing this game. We get it out and we just play. We have Harry Potter week and we just play Harry Potter and watch the movies and just have a great time. Now here's the thing you have to understand about this game, and I try to tell everybody in every video, is this game was this by the op? Yeah, USopoly. They knew when they made this game that people were going to buy this game that have never played a modern board game in their life. So they developed this game so that book one is just, all it is a tutor. It's going to teach you what's going on in the game. Now I've read comments on BGG, oh yeah, I played that, it's too easy, so we sold it. I played your first book, it was so easy. You know, the first book was a tutor. It's all it is.
I think they tell you to start with 3,
yeah,
if you are familiar.
Start with 3?
I think so.
Well, we always start with 3, and we've lost. I mean, and
yeah,
we've lost in book 4.
Yeah.
And we've played this game so many times. People needed to understand that. It was developed because people who haven't played board games at all were going to buy this game, and that happened. Lots of people, because it's Harry Potter, bought this game and then realized, wow, that game's stupid. You know, but they did give it a chance or read how this game was developed. It goes from book 1 is a tutor, book 2 is easy, but it's it gives you a little more, and then book 3 it starts getting tough. And by book 4 you're working hard intellectually, trying to survive and go on to 5, 6, and 7. So yeah, I always take the time to tell people that. Game is fantastic fun, you guys. It's, again, one of our favorite games of all time. I mean, it's in my top 20. I ranged the games in this 2016 list according to how well Lori and I love them, and Harry Potter was number 2 from 2016. Outstanding deck building game. Okay, and the best game from 2016, in my humble opinion, is Jagmire Scythe. And it's a game that has reached, for me, iconic status. It is in my top 10 of all time. My new Ultimate 100 is going to reflect my personal feeling on games. Generally, I take into account how the hobby feels about the game. And I'm not going to do that this year. This year I'm going to give my own personal opinion. This one's going to be in my top 10 side, because every time I play it, I just get lost in this universe, just like the Harry Potter universe. The art in this game is the best thematic art in board gaming. No, hands down, this guy's name is Jacob Rozalski. Jacob Rozalski. This is for 1 to 5 players. The art in here is second to none. There's nothing that I've come across in my board gaming journeys over the years that matches this game. When you consider this whole package of what Jamie Stegmaier has done here, this is just a fantastic gaming experience, and it's not a complex game. That's the beautiful thing about it. You can buy this game and just enjoy it. You can figure this game out. You know, you have a player board where you're building a little engine and moving around on the board with these mechs and just having a great time with encounters. You got an encounter deck, and you can buy a 32 card encounter deck expansion for like $10 for this game, and it adds so much depth to what's already here. Now, Jamie Stegmaier, I always get on my soapbox when I talk about Stonemaier games. Their stuff is in print. I mean, in this hobby, you find so many good board games that are out of print. I mean, that's horse hockey. Fantasy Flight with Runebound. Just a cardinal sin. You can't get any of their stuff, you know, for Runebound. And there's other examples where things are out of print and they shouldn't be. I mean, that's stupid. But you know what? Stonemaier Games keeps their... You can go get Wingspan, one of the best games ever made. Today. You can get it right now on Amazon. You can get Scythe on Amazon right now. Tapestry on Amazon. Anything that Stonemaier Games has produced is in print. I mean, they're my favorite publisher because of that. Because people who are starting this hobby that hear about Scythe, they can go buy it. They don't have to pay $300 in the secondary market because the game's out of print. You know, I dislike that tremendously in this hobby. Scythe is outstanding. It was the best game that came out in 2016. It is reaching iconic status for me. It's becoming a classic very quickly. And it's a game that Lori and I, even at our age, enjoy throwing it down on the table and playing this game because it's not complex at all. It is just a game that we can smoothly play. We've got an expansion. We got all the expansion material for, not all. We have the
almost all.
We have Rise of Fenris, and we have
Invaders from Afar.
Invaders from Afar. What's the Wind Gambit?
The Wind Gambit.
And then we bought the one with that gives
the encounters deck.
Yeah, we took this to our last convention and taught it to some friends who hadn't played it, and I hope they enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed teaching it, because I really get excited when I play this game. I'm just like, here's what we're going to do. You know, I mean, you get caught up in that 1920s alternate universe. Just a tremendous game, and you can go and buy it today. How beautiful is that? Oh my gosh, I bought mine, the secondary market. This is a collector's edition, and again, you know, it's just the best game, in my opinion, that came out in 2016. That's the video for today. I hope I didn't ramble too long. I wanted to get something out there, and I enjoyed doing this. And those 10 games that I talked about, even the ones that I told you about that are still in my library but not in my top 10, are fantastic. But those 10 that I talked about today are games that I can guarantee you are solid designs. They're good at the start, they're good at the middle, and they're good at the end. They finish fantastic. There are so many board games out there that are not strong either at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end, and those are just design flaws. So these games that I've talked about today are good from start to finish, and that's what makes a good board game. I love every one of you guys. Every one of these board games I showed you today, Lori and I purchased with our own hard-earned cash. Nobody sent me a game for review copies. We don't do any of that. I've never earned a nickel from doing these videos. I only do it and share our passion for board gaming with you because we enjoy doing that. But I don't know how long I'll do these videos. Again, I'll be 70 in November, and I'm not going to ever stop playing board games. That's something I'm never going to stop. But I do have over 200 board games here at my house. That is a little bit much because we do this channel. Now, we would shave that down definitely.
Probably will start.
Yeah, if we weren't doing this channel. But I like to share those games because we've played thousands of board games and we've watched hundreds and more on YouTube that we just decided weren't for us. And so we get games, we play them, we try to go to our local board game store, play them there, go to convention, play them there, so that we can eliminate or add those to our library. Or bring them in the house and say, yeah, we're going to get this game and play it and then tell people about it because it's really good. But we do everything on our own. I mean, monetarily, we use our own resources to buy these games. And we're excited to share them with you. We enjoy that part of this hobby. The big channels, you know, the big bosses in reviewing board games out there, and we love those guys too, Tom Vassell and Rado and Game Boy Geek, the guys that really drive this hobby, but they do it for other reasons. So you have to kind of take the things they tell you with a grain of salt. They're making a living doing it. I am not. I mean, I'm not making a living doing this. I made my living. I'm done. I retired, and so I can do this and do it as truthfully as I possibly can from the bottom of my heart to tell you about games that are fantastic. Again, I love every one of you. I'll see you the next time here in the Bones Collector. Please give us a like and subscribe if you haven't. I know everybody says that, but it helps us out tremendously in doing this channel. So if you have any comments, please leave them below. Any questions about these games? I love every one of you. I'll see you next time here in the Bones Collector. Hey, Biscuit sat here the whole time. She was just, yeah, she slept the whole time. She had her kitty crack, I call it, her delectables. She loves those, and then we gave her her treats recently, and her brother's in sleeping in the bedroom, but this is Biscuit's Gravies is asleep somewhere, but she sat here for the whole video. Bless her little heart. I love these cats. I'll see you next time on Bones Collector. Bye-bye.